Hey everyone, my name is Sophie from Sophisticated Motherhood, and today we're going to be doing Hanukkah crafts and activities for babies and toddlers. I am going to start right here in the kitchen, and we're going to be making a few different recipes. The first one that I have here, very simple, can't even call it a recipe. It's more of like a fruit platter that we're going to make in the shape of a menorah. So I have a few fruits here that I'm going to use, and I am going to start peeling my little cutie that I have here. I have a banana, blueberries, apple, my cutie, and then I also have some raspberries. But you could mix up the fruit a little bit. I saw some images on Pinterest and was really inspired to make this because it seems so simple. My toddler loves fruit, and as you're cutting the fruit, you can just cut it in a way that's appropriate for whatever age child you have, especially depending on what types of fruits you have. Sometimes the fruits do need to be cut down a little bit more. If you have a really little baby and they're just starting with finger foods, if you are using an orange or a clementine, even these little tiny cuties, I would probably cut each segment into maybe thirds or so. My toddler does them in halves at this point. And if you have blueberries, you might want to give them a little bit of a smash if you have a child that's not quite ready to have whole blueberries that aren't squished. If you have a child that's a little bit older, don't worry about any of this. Apples can also be a tricky one for kids depending on their age. So keep all of that in mind. I am mostly going to be using the skin, so this part isn't going to be as edible, I guess, but you can always cut more of the apple for your child to enjoy if they want a little bit more apple other than what is on the fruit platter. So I am going to bring you up nice and close so you can watch me put this thing together, and you can get an idea of how to make this if you want to make a menorah fruit platter at home. I don't know how we could make a Hanukkah video with recipes included and not make latkes. So I'm gonna be making some kid-friendly latkes. These ones have hidden veggies inside, and I will link the recipe to this if you are interested in printing it out or following along with a recipe yourself and making it later. It is from PJ Library, which I would highly recommend if you are Jewish and you haven't signed up for PJ Library yet and you have children, to check it out. You get free books, games, puzzles sometimes. Typically it's books though that get sent to your house on a monthly basis, I believe, but you can get them for all of the children in your household and specify the ages of your kids. You just give them your birth date of each of your children, and they'll send books to your house that are age appropriate and celebrate the Jewish holidays. And it's been really fun. We signed up Owen before he was born and have really been enjoying it. And they do events in our area, so they maybe do events in your area if you haven't looked into that yet with kids. And this was a recipe I found through them. So what I am doing is I'm gonna double this recipe, and it said to do 2 large russet potatoes. I have 3 that are kind of small, medium size. So I am going to peel these, and then what's really gonna help is if you have a food processor to use as a grater. I have a grating attachment on my food processor right now because we are going to grate the 2 large or 3 potatoes, 1 full onion, 1 full head of cauliflower, and 2 peeled zucchinis. So I need to peel these as well. And then I'm gonna stick everything through the food processor, and we'll check back in a second. can already see that there's a ton of liquid coming out of everything I've put in the food processor. You're gonna wanna put it into a cheesecloth or a dish towel before you start adding it into your mixing bowl with your other ingredients. So in the mixing bowl, I am going to add in about 2 cloves of garlic here. So I'm just gonna stick them through my garlic press and get that into the bowl. I'm also gonna add in 1 cup of flour that I already have pre-measured out here. Then I'm gonna add in 1 teaspoon of pepper and about a teaspoon of salt. And then I'm also gonna add in 2 tablespoons of baking powder by 4 eggs. And then I'm going to mix in everything that I've grated up in my food processor. And we have a pan behind me going with a little bit of avocado oil. That's just my preferred oil for cooking, whatever your preferred oil is. You can get that heated up so that when you drop something in it, it is nice and crispy and starts to bubble up. You can always grab just like a little bit of a piece of something to see if it bubbles up when you start to put it in the oil. I would do about tablespoon size balls and flatten them out a little bit into your frying pan, and we're gonna cook them until they're nice and brown and crispy on one side, flip them over, get the other, and I would recommend either letting the oil soak out on paper towels, or if you have a wire rack you can put them on with paper towels below. That would be a great option as well. So actually I can wring out some of this liquid. There's so much liquid in here. And then I'm just gonna get something to mix this all up, and we will check in over at the frying pan. I've been munching on all the broken pieces of the latkes, and they are delicious. Considering how many veggies they have in there, they are a little bit of a healthier option. Of course, they're fried in some oil. You can do just a little bit less oil and just pan sear them a bit. They do crumble a tiny bit, I found. So I have a section of small little broken up pieces, which is perfect for a toddler anyway. Then I have some that I've already started to put in my Tupperware because I was filling up my plate that I had lined with paper towels. But I would highly recommend, if you have never had latkes before, the 2 traditional things to dip them into are applesauce and or sour cream. I kind of like the combination of both applesauce and sour cream, but everyone has their own preferences, so play around with both. Especially my toddler loves dip. He loves dipping. He's in that phase right now, so I know he's really going to enjoy these. The first craft we're gonna be making is an egg carton menorah. All you need is an egg carton that you've saved. And I am going to start by cutting it just so I have the bottom part where the eggs are held. And I'm actually going to even cut away the little bits in between the egg holders. And then I'll show you what I'm gonna do from there. I have all of the egg carton cups cut out, and I am going to do 4 on one side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Cut that off. And 4 for the other side. And then I am going to make the one that goes in the center, the shamus, be a little bit taller. So I am going to cut individual egg cups. And we are going to hot glue these together to make one long menorah. And again, I'm gonna put a few together to make one that is taller for the shamus. next step is going to be making holes for popsicle sticks to go in to be your candles. So I have a little X-Acto knife here, and I am just going to have my popsicle stick next to me so I can measure and make sure the popsicle sticks will stick in once I cut the holes. And the next part of the project is going to be painting. And there's a couple of things that you can do with the painting. You can keep it really simple and just leave your egg carton the way that it is. Or you could also paint your egg carton if you have a fun color like silver or gold and want to make it look like it's a little bit fancier, like it's metallic, you could do that. And then the part that's really fun for a kid, especially if you have a little kid, is to give them the popsicle sticks so they can do some painting on it or coloring if you want to give them markers, and just let them go wild and decorate. You can at the end glue on little flames or pom-poms on top to look like flames. That's probably what I'm gonna do. And the other thing I will say is you can get your kids involved with any stage of this project, kind of depending on their age. So if you have a very, very little one, you might want to do most of the cutting out of the egg carton on your own, especially the part where I was just using the little X-Acto knife. That's a really great spot for the parents to jump in, but the decoration part, you could, again, let your kids help with the egg carton decorating with markers or with painting it, and especially with these popsicle sticks, really kids of most ages, probably as long as they're over a year and can hold a marker or a crayon or something to color or a paintbrush, you can get them involved in using these popsicle sticks. So that is what my little menorah looks like right now, and I'm going to get to painting it and let our little guy get to decorating the popsicle sticks. The last craft that I have is extremely simple, and it's something that I've wanted to do since becoming a mom, but I have not been great about doing this. I want to be able to send out cards from our son that are homemade and have his like little handprints on it. My sister-in-law did this for Valentine's Day last year, and I thought it was so cute. She sent us a card with her twin boys that they helped make. So I thought this would be a really cute one. And it's another menorah. So I don't have my son here with me, and I am just gonna demonstrate how to do this with my own hands. So you can use some blue paint. I'm gonna pick this color. I just have some washable paint that I have in these little squeeze tubes, and I am going to put some paint here in this little container. I decided that when I do it with my son, I'm either going to have his hands printed on the paper first and then put it through the printer after it's dried and print some words on it. I'm a little bit neurotic and don't love my own handwriting that much, so I like printing it. I did this on some nice cardstock, so you can also put some handprints on after you've printed. But I would recommend just getting a paintbrush to paint your child's hands. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fully paint my hands here, make them nice and blue. I'll probably just do this hand first. Of course, if you're doing this with your kid, you're gonna wanna make sure that they are in a place where you're okay with it getting messy. So I'm gonna stick my first handprint down, and you wanna make sure the thumb is kind of going as upright as possible. Same with the rest of your fingers. So I'm just gonna press it all down. Have my first handprint there. I'm actually gonna wash this off, and then we're gonna do the second hand. Let me just say, washable paint is a breeze. If I can find this paint, I really like the squeeze tubes that they're in. I will try and link it in the description box below if you're interested. I think they have like a glitter version of it as well. But once you get the second handprint, you're gonna wanna try and line it up with the first one so your thumbs are overlapping, or your child's thumbs are overlapping. So you just wanna press it straight down, and then I'll show you the next step. but not least, you're gonna wanna grab some yellow paint and make little flames on the top. So I would do fingerprints. I'm just going to directly apply this to my fingers here and stick little flames on top of each of the candles. This is the final product. How cute is this, especially with little hands, not my hands. That is it for today's video. I will also be doing one of these for Christmas crafts and for Christmas food. I'll again have another one probably in January for winter themed crafts and activities and food items and recipes as well. I'm trying to do these every single month, so if you enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up so I know that you do. But I just want to thank you again for joining me as together we make this motherhood journey sophisticated.